Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. If there was ever any doubt the general election is here, it became absolutely clear in just the first 30 seconds of President Joe Biden's State of the Union address last night. Biden came to the stage as the nominee of his own party, facing his predecessor running yet again. And from the very first moments, Biden set the stakes of an existential battle over the future of American democracy. A battle represented by the man holding the presidency against the man who previously held it and lost it, and then fomented a violent coup to try to retain it. It was an aggressive prosecution of the case right out of the gate. It was aided by the fact that the Republican Party and the right-wing media, certainly, and honestly, a lot of the mainstream media, has spent the past few years, particularly the past few months, caricaturing Joe Biden as impossibly feeble and doddering. Well, he did not look that way last night. The president seemed to relish the constant outbursts and interjections and heckles from Republicans in the chamber. One of my absolute favorite moments happened before the speech started as Biden made his way into the chamber shaking hands before he made this face after spotting Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's MAGA getup. It's like the face of a grown-up pretending to be scared by a 6-year-old's Halloween costume. Whoa, look at this. You're a scary ghost. But once he got to the podium and the speech started, he used every opportunity at his disposal to remind voters at home that on a range of key issues, from Ukraine to January 6th, abortion rights to Obamacare, Democrats are on the right side of public opinion. Republicans on the wrong side.
Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine and provide the weapons that it needs to defend itself. But now, assistance to Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership. Now my predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, do whatever the hell you want. My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January 6th. I will not do that. This is the moment to speak the truth and to bury the lies. Many of you in this chamber and my predecessor are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedom else would you take away? If you, the American people, send me a Congress that supports the right to choose, I promise you, I'll restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land again. My predecessor and many in this chamber want to take this prescription drug away by repealing the Affordable Care Act. I'm not going to let that happen.
At every turn, the messaging was clear. Democrats oppose Putin's aggression. Republicans apparently do not. Democrats support American democracy. Republicans apparently do not. Democrats support reproductive freedom. Republicans clearly do not. All culminating in a very telling exchange on perhaps the number one political priority for the Republican Party, tax cuts.
We have two ways to go. Republicans can cut Social Security and give more tax breaks to the wealthy. That's the proposal. Oh, no. You guys don't want another $2 trillion tax cut? I kind of thought that's what your plan was. Well, that's good to hear. You're not going to cut another $2 trillion for the super wealthy. That's good to hear.
They are going to try to cut another $2 trillion for the super wealthy when the Trump tax cuts expire in 2025. It's a huge part of the agenda. President Biden was reminding voters, all 32 million of them who tuned in last night, of the most unpopular moment of Donald Trump's presidency other than the days after January 6th, when Trump and Republicans in Congress forced through that massive tax cut for the wealthy and corporations. It was the only actual Republican policy victory on domestic policy of Trump's tenure in office, the biggest piece of legislation. Despite their vocal protestations last night, it is exactly what they will do again should they retake control of Congress and the White House. They are, I will give them this, smart enough not to openly campaign on it because they know that cutting taxes for the wealthy, further cutting taxes for corporations, is an unbelievably unpopular political position. The fact of the matter is, everyone who pays attention to American politics knows this election, this campaign is going to be hard fought. It's going to be a very close general election, I think, barring some unforeseen change of circumstances. Joe Biden and the Democrats face some truly serious challenges ahead. No doubt you've read about them. But last night was in some ways a display of what their greatest strengths are, their advantages. And it's this: they are on the right side of the policy specifics, I mean, the actual tangible things of governing, of nearly every, not every, but nearly every salient issue before voters. It's especially true on abortion rights. And as a result, there's this incredibly energized and mobilized base of tens of millions of people who have been showing up for basically every special election across America since Dobbs in the midterms 2022 and 2023 to do whatever they can to enshrine reproductive freedoms into law, to beat back those who have supported those restrictions. And that said, by and large, the voters who show up to vote in off-year special elections, even in midterms, they're already incredibly motivated. They tend not to be the ones that need to be persuaded. For the voters on the margins who will decide this election and honestly the fate of the future trajectory of what we call American democracy, a lot of them just aren't paying attention to politics. It's just not their thing. Today, we saw a great example of this, an anecdote from Democratic pollster Celinda Lake about a recent focus group she held with swing voters. Lake asked the voters about Trump's upcoming January 6th court cases. Quote, they go, what court cases around January 6th? And Lake said, well, you know, the insurrection, that he was the one that provoked it. They go, oh, yeah, kind of forgot about that. Now, I want to be clear here, like, there's lots of things I don't pay attention to. I've got this job, and if you asked me about those things, I would sound the exact same way. Right? There's tons of examples of this stuff. Take this Vox article summarizing focus groups with independent voters last spring. Quote, in Michigan, a woman was asked how the two parties differ on abortion and how she would describe each party's position. I'm not sure, the woman answered. I really haven't basically heard anything about which party is leaning towards it and which one isn't. If I had to guess, I would say Democrat would probably be against abortion and Republican probably be for it. That same article shares another anecdote from a voter in North Carolina. Quote, a participant said she wasn't sure where the parties stand on abortion and had been surprised Roe v. Wade was overturned under a Democrat. Okay, but did Joe Biden have a say in whether or not it was overturned? The focus group moderator asked. No, but he helped get the Supreme Court judges where they are, the woman responded. The moderator then informed the woman the most recent judges came in under Donald Trump. I mean, again, it might seem obvious to those of us who are hyper engaged in politics, but all this stuff is super opaque to literally millions and millions of voters, many of whom have just started paying attention to the upcoming election, aren't really even going to tune in fully for a while. So this is crucial, right? This was what I really took away from last night, the path that Biden and his campaign recognized. As people start to pay attention to this campaign, to be proactive about telling voters what the two parties stand for, what the Democratic Joe Biden, Kamala Harris agenda looks like, what the Trump Republican Party agenda looks like. And judging by last night, they're going to do so confidently, knowing they are on the right side of a whole host of issues. On paper, Senator Katie Britt was an excellent choice to deliver the response to the State of the Union. At 42 years old, she is the youngest Republican woman ever elected to the Senate, the first woman senator from Alabama. Britt's a mother of two. She's married to a former NFL player. She's widely considered to be a rising political star with genuine political acumen. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina even suggested that, quote, she represents the future of the Republican Party. The party clearly expected her to knock it out of the park. The New York Times reports that a close ally of Senator Britt sent talking points to conservative influencers ahead of the speech, suggesting words of praise, including, quote, she came off like America's mom. She gets it. They compared her response to Ronald Reagan's famous Berlin Wall speech and described it as reminiscent of his message of that shining city on a hill. Before she uttered a single word, the author of these talking points declared that Britt's speech was pitch perfect. And for the first 60 seconds or so of the speech, it seemed fine. She was smiling at her kitchen table, talking about the future of America. But it quickly took a real turn.
We see you. We hear you. And we stand with you.
The Daily Beast described the speech as, quote, bizarrely delivered with an over-the-top dramatic cadence that left political operatives and observers struggling to make sense of it. The performance was so bad that some Republicans watched the high-profile speech with a grimace. According to one strategist, everyone's effing losing it. It's one of our biggest disasters ever. Rolling Stone was inundated with messages absolutely torching Britt's absurdly overdramatic rebuttal. A Trump advisor wrote, quote, "What the hell am I watching right now?" A Republican pollster called it creepy. And a senior House congressional aide described it as cringe-inducing to watch and likely destined to be turned into a lame Saturday Night Live skit this weekend. I think it's a fair prediction, though it might not be lame. The conversation was similar on social media, where conservative activist Charlie Kirk received a lot of replies to his post asking his followers if they liked Britt's speech. Alan Sanders compared it to a B-grade Hallmark movie moment with an unknown actress playing the lead. Stacy in the USA wrote, "Very babysitter reading a bedtime story like." Xeon, 45, said, "Reminded me of when a person spoke on Sesame Street." And on Real America's Voice, the right-wing hosts were stunned into silence.
May God bless you, and may God continue to bless these United States of America.
I'm sure she's
I'm a fan of her.
I'm sure she's very nice, and I don't want to get like over the top here, but that is everything about that on a night like tonight is wrong.
The reaction that may best represent the Republican Party came from the senior senator from Alabama, former football coach Tommy Tuberville.
Well, considering the circumstances, I thought she did very well. And, you know, she's a mom. She's a housewife. She's around people at a young age.
That housewife is his colleague, the first female senator from the state of Alabama. And remember, the clear intention of choosing Katie Britt to deliver the response was to counter the deficit Republicans are facing among women voters and anger about their abortion policy. I don't think they quite accomplished that last night.